Hi! Ah! Okay. Hey guys! What is up? It's Cassie. So if you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Cassie, and this is a story time of how my boyfriend, well, ex-boyfriend, cheated on me multiple times. I asked you guys on Instagram a few days ago to ask me some questions or advice. A bunch of you guys had a lot of questions about how to get over a breakup, or have I ever been cheated on, breakups in general, just a whole clump mess. See, this is the things that people don't talk about. Dealing with breakups. That's the thing that I feel like no one talks about. Is this. I don't even know how to deal with it. I guess this is the way I'm dealing with it. But this sucks. I feel like I have hid this from you guys for such a long time, and hid a huge thing that I went through last year for so long, and I tried to make multiple videos about it, and I just never had the courage to actually upload this video. So if this is making the internet, hello, I finally did it. I honestly just really wanted to be a big sister, a friend, or just literally someone that you can hopefully relate to if you were going through something like this. I am not trying to make this video to shade the person who I went through all of this with, although I was very deeply hurt by this person. I don't want harm to them. If you know who this person is, or if you put two and two together, please leave them alone. Do not come for them. Just please. It would be the best for all of us. I'm more so just doing it because I just want to be there for y'all who are going through similar things that I went through, and let you know that it is all right, and that if you were a complete utter mess, then girl, same. I went through it. Hopefully you guys will learn something from me and learn from my mistakes. I've never really opened up a lot on my YouTube channel, and I really want to start doing that for 2020, and I'm tired of putting on a front that I am this always happy, positive person, because last year was one of the worst years of my life. If I could literally just help one person out from filming this video, it will make literally everything that I went through, and potentially in the future go through, worth every single second. And if just one person gets a good laugh out of this video, then that makes all of my pain and suffering worth it. This is gonna be a start of a series on my channel where I literally just get real, it gets real, and here we are. Episode 1, how my ex-boyfriend cheated on me. Grab a drink, alcoholic or non-alcoholic. You know, maybe get yourself a snack, and let's hop in. Starting off in 2018, I got into a relationship with a person. This person was somebody who did not live in California where I live, and I had actually previously met them at a work function about 2 years prior. And automatically when I first saw that person, I thought they were so attractive. I was so into them, and they actually had a girlfriend at the time, and I was like, oop, all right, well, they don't even live where I live. That will never work out. Anyways, so fast forward to 2018, Playlist Live. They told me that they were planning on moving to Los Angeles in the next few months. He was in LA at the time. We hung out a few times. We really hit it off, and I really liked this person. Actually, I think he needs a name. We're gonna call this person Kyle. He needs a name. We're gonna call him Kyle. I don't know why. Vine references, I don't know. So Kyle leaves LA, and before he leaves LA, he was like, I don't want you to see anybody else. I really like you. He had plans to come back to LA in about a month or so we continued talking, FaceTiming all the time. Things were great, you know? Things were great. He comes back to LA a month later, and we decide to be official, be boyfriend and girlfriend. I only had ever had a high school boyfriend, and so this was my first real legit adult relationship, even though I still now am 12 years old and barely know what I'm doing. Things are great for a few months. He goes back home, and then he actually came and decided to stay at my apartment with me October through November of 2018. Things were great all throughout that time period until the end of November. I started to feel very, I don't want to use the word depressed, because I've never been diagnosed as anything like that. I've always been a very happy, positive person, but that was the first time in my life where I ever felt sadness and had no idea why. I don't know what it was. I just wasn't in a very good mindset, and I ended up just crying a lot of the time. He ends up going back home after he stayed with me for about a month and a half, and things got really rocky after that because I was calling him all the time, just leaning on him for support as one would normally do in a relationship. He wouldn't answer me for hours. I would get upset upset. He was starting to get upset with me. Eventually said that he thinks we should take a break because I was relying on him too much. He just did not have time to deal with me and my emotions pretty much. That holiday season was very hard on me. I was trying to film videos and I literally would just sit down and like break down crying. Sis was just going through it. Things were very rocky between us. One day we would talk and then the next day we'd be fighting and it would seem like he wanted to, you know, be back together, but then the next second he wasn't. Before, I had never really been the type of person who would like stalk to see what someone was doing. I just came kind of suspicious because his ex-girlfriend started like commenting on his Instagram photos and I thought that was very strange because he had told me they had been broken up for like months now, and this was the girlfriend from like previous years before. I decided one day to look at her Instagram, just, you know, give it a peek, and I noticed that he was commenting all over her Instagram pictures like, oh my god, you look so beautiful, like, oh, so hot, flame, fire emojis, wet emoji, you know, all of that. So this upset me very much so, as, you know, you think anyone would be upset by. I confronted him about it and his response was that we're not together, so sorry, I can do whatever I want. Also, this point of time period, just remember this is an important time period. I think we stopped talking for a little bit and then eventually, God knows how, me and my dumbass just, you know, decided to talk to him again. Also, another point of information is that I've always wanted to go visit him where he lives. I'm not gonna say where he lived, but I always wanted to go visit him and stay with him, but he never really allowed me to. He didn't really want me to because of work and stuff like that. I also forgot to mention that this person works in the same industry as I do. I won't disclose, obviously, like what they exactly do, and one day he agrees that he would let me come fly and visit him. So I buy a plane ticket, which cost me close to $2,000. So while I was there, like I said, most of the time it was great. One thing that I will mention though is that we were doing some work things, we had some work events, and Valentine's Day also landed while I was there. Not to get into detail, but basically I was with him and some work friends and I made like some sort of joke that I can't even remember, to be honest. He got very, very mad at me because apparently I made him look very bad, and maybe I did, who knows, but it was a complete accident. Things slip out, people make jokes, you know what, it's like not that big of a deal. So he literally dragged me up to our hotel room, yelled at me for making him look bad, and that night, which was Valentine's Day, I spent alone crying in our hotel room. And I literally cried myself to sleep that night. Did I also mention he didn't get me anything for Valentine's Day? Nothing, not even like a card, not, like literally like nada. Well, another event that happened on this trip is one night we decided to go out. I went to go sit down on a chair and he pulled it out from underneath me because he thought it was funny, and I fell. I literally hit the ground so hard that I had a massive bruise, which I can literally insert a photo here. It literally hurt so bad that I like started tearing up just because it hurt that badly, and I'm not really like a weak bitch. No, that's a lie, I kind of am. And he was just laughing and thought it was so funny, when really that was abusive. Flash forward to the end of this trip, I am gonna go home and we actually had Playlist Live the next following week. I actually left on a Friday and Playlist Live was the next following Friday. So there were 6 days in between the time period that we were not going to see each other. So he drops me off at the airport and he literally cried, started tearing up when he left me at the airport because he was like, oh my god, this was such a fun trip, like I'm so glad you came, like I love you, like I'm so excited to see you in literally like 6 days. 6 days. Immediately after I'm home, things just seem a little weird. I could just sense that there was something off. I didn't know what it was, but there was something off. Sister's intuition was telling herself something. We're messaging, he seems very like short with me, just like very weird vibes, and I was like, alright, I don't know what that is, but whatever. We had actually had plans to go to Miami after Playlist Live because it's in Florida and I had done that before. I wanted to do it again with him. I thought it'd be like a fun little vacation. So one morning I wake up to a voice memo from him that literally just blatantly said, I don't know any way to say this, but I don't want you to come to Miami with us anymore. Literally, that was just it. The entire day I was just thinking of like awful scenarios in my head of like what happened, like did I do something wrong? It was not a pleasant day, to say the least. He calls me later that day and it's just like, oh sorry, I just want to go to Miami with my brother, which is who we were going to be going with. I just don't want it to be a third wheel, you know, has nothing to do with you. Very weird situation, but I was like, okay, I'm upset by it, but you know, just brushed it off. Flash forward a few days to Playlist Live. My plan didn't get in until that first night of Playlist Live, so I get there, and immediately with the first minute that I saw him, I just knew that there was something off. I could just tell in his face, in his voice. I kind of just brushed it off. I was like, all right. So I end up getting ready. There's a party later that night. There's always parties at Playlist Live where it's kind of just for like YouTubers, people in the industry, managers, all of that. We go to this party, and by this time he had already been drinking like a lot. And when I say a lot, like he was hammered. At the time, I was not 21 yet, so I was not drinking. So it's getting really late. We were like one of the last people leaving the party, and the party was in the hotel that I was staying at. He was staying at a completely different hotel that was like 15 minutes away, and he was literally like belligerently drunk, gone like the wind, sweetie. As a good girlfriend I am, I drag his ass up to my room. You know, I get him all nice and tucked into bed. I hang up his nice clothes, and I go to plug his phone in so he can charge his phone for the night, and I see a sketchy looking message on the home screen. I literally can feel my heart pounding because I'm like reliving this as I'm saying it. PTSD. At the time, I had never looked in anyone's phone. He had never really given me any reasons. Actually, a flashback to when he was freaking commenting on his ex-girlfriend's photos. Should have known then. And I knew his phone password. I open up his phone. I go straight to Instagram DMs, and I could not believe my eyes. There was DMs from, I'm not even kidding you, probably 10 to 12 different girls, like straight there, like in the top section of his DMs, meaning he was DMing these people frequently, and the last one that he had talked to was hours before I had arrived at Playlist Live. Sis, I'm getting like mad right now. I'm getting worked up. I start, you know, reading through all these messages, and at this point I am infuriated with anger. I had never felt so much anger. Mind you, I had just spent thousands of dollars going to go visit him, spent almost a month with him, and then 6 days later I find out this information. They were the most utterly disgusting DMs I had ever read in my life. Now mind you, we were long distance. Our time difference were a little bit different, and he was messaging girls that were in my time. One that I vividly remember and is always burned into my memory that I will never forget is that he said, damn, like once I move to LA, I'm gonna break up with my girlfriend so I can you. Who's the girlfriend? That was me at the time. That was me. After looking at all the Instagram DMs, I go to his messages, and I find messages from his ex-girlfriend. Remember when I said he was commenting on her Instagram photos back in December? Well, sweetie, that has also come back to haunt me. I find out that he actually, in the time period that we were taking a break, went to go visit his ex-girlfriend. Went and visited with her and stayed with her, was saying all these things to her, like, oh my god, like, baby, like, I love you so much, like, you're so beautiful. Everything that he had said to me, he was saying to his ex-girlfriend as well. There was photo messages sent back and forth. There was just vulgar things that I can't even just comprehend. I'm having a complete and utter mental breakdown. He's literally like dead, drunken, asleep on my bed. I had no idea what to do, so I called my manager. I was literally having a mental breakdown, like hysterically crying in the hallway of a hotel at Playlist Live at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was like numb, but I also was so angry. I had never felt that much anger in my life. My friend was like, oh, just stay in my room for the night, you know, just like sleep it off, and then in the morning, like go over back to your room and talk to him about it. But I actually did not sleep one blink of sleep that entire night. So I go back to my room around like 8:30 in the morning. I wake him up and he's like, oh, like, hey babe, like, good morning. And I just immediately threw it out there. I was like, so when were you gonna tell me that you were cheating on me? As soon as I said that, he literally looked like he got hit by a bus, saw a ghost. Bitch knew he was caught. He is like, okay, give me a second, let me compose myself, when I was trying to also compose myself to not punch him in the face, which actually happens later on, so oops. So he starts coming up with, mind I say, bullshit excuses as to why he decided to cheat on me, which he actually truly deep down believed that it wasn't cheating on me. He was just messaging other girls, and like, yes, it was unloyal, but it wasn't cheating because he didn't physically do anything with anybody. No, like I just told a girl like I was gonna break up with you and like f her when I moved to LA, but like no, that's not cheating. Like that's not cheating at all. he was blaming messaging all these girls on that it was just like long distance and that he would just get lonely at night. It had nothing to do with me and trying to deal with his emotions, and he just needed to be single. And mind you, these girls were in the same time zone as me. Not him, me. So if he really was just lonely and wanted to talk to somebody, he could have messaged me, his literal girlfriend. But no, he decided to message girls that were literally like in the same city as me. Logic right there, like so logical. Hey guys, editing Cassie here. Totally forgot to mention that he had been messaging girls throughout our entire relationship, which was 9 months long at that point. So your girl was blindsided. Also, if you heard oinking in the background, I'm currently babysitting a pig right now. My life. She's never not entertaining. Okay, peace out from me and Tootsie. Literally screaming at him at the top of my lungs because I had never been so angry, so disrespected ever in my life. I have never seen that side of myself ever, and honestly, I was scared of my own self. So I bring up his ex-girlfriend and that I knew that he went and saw her, and he was like, I'm so sorry, like I just didn't think I was over her. And then I also found out that they had actually not broken up as long ago as he said, and so he was still trying to get over his ex-girlfriend. He basically just blamed it all on that he wanted time to be alone and be single and go do whatever he wanted, which is fine. He decided to get into a relationship with me, do the long distance thing, and he was just not ready for that, but he also just did not want to lose me in that process, which is so freaking messed up. You are not over somebody or you want to have time alone, do not get into a relationship with somebody. That is the worst possible thing you could do, because then you end up cheating on them. Yeah, I was absolutely exhausted because I, like I said, had gotten no sleep the night before, and he left and I went to bed for a few hours. I woke up literally feeling like, was that like a dream? Did like this really just freaking happen to me? And sadly, yeah, it did. I go on with my day, I get ready, and I go down to start meeting you guys. I was in such a bad place. I literally felt numb inside. All I wanted to do was crawl into my hotel room bed and just sob. That was the last mindset that I wanted to have while like meeting you guys. Shout out to you guys, like thank you. You guys are my family and I love you. And I probably would have not really made it through that weekend without you guys. I end up running into him multiple times and he's just trying to act like normal, like nothing happened, and I was being very, very standoffish to him for good reasoning. He pulls me to the side and is like, hey, like this needs to stop. You're making me look bad. Like people know that there's something going on. I can't have this here. And I was like, oh my god, like sweetie, I'm so sorry. Like I'm so sorry I'm making you look bad. Like you didn't just like break my heart and like, you know, cheat on me. Like it's fine. Like I'm so sorry. Here I am trying to fake my way through Playlist Live, acting like to friends that everything is fine, acting to you guys that everything is fine, when I'm internally screaming and crying inside. It's now the last day of Playlist Live and I had my meet and greet that day. I also had a panel. It also made it even harder because while I was at my panel, he was sitting literally at the front row, and every time I would like look out into the audience, I would just look at him and I was like, you cheated on me, but hey, let's talk about like YouTube and like fun stuff. And so this is the part where I really want you guys to pay attention and to not follow what I did. If somebody cheats on you and disrespects you that much, you really should not give them a second chance. That is my personal opinion. I've been through it. I don't think it's smart, sweetie. So, you know, just like do as I say, not as I did in this situation. Even though I was not going to Miami with him, we were actually gonna go to Disney World the day after Playlist Live. Playlist Live actually had like booked me a flight to go home like that day. Some of my friends were staying and I wanted to go and just like have a good time because if you guys know me, you know I'm literally obsessed with Disneyland. He was also trying to convince me to stay too. He was like, just stay, like we'll have a fun day, you know, like we'll get through this. So my dumbass listened to him and I decided to stay. I Ubered to his hotel and I get there, I'm already dressed and ready, and as soon as I got there he started like arguing with me. It was just not good. It was like in front of his brother. It was so awkward. Eventually they're like, okay, let's go to Disney World. It takes them literally forever. By this point half the day is over and it's not even really worth going to Disney World anyway. I get there with one of my friends and debating if we should even like go into the park. There was problems with our ticket. It was a whole mess and they were like, you know what, like we don't even want to go to Disney World anymore. Let's just go to our new hotel and like hang out. So then again, me and my dumbass decides to stay even longer with them and wait a few days to go to Disney World because they had a business meeting. It was Monday, they had a meeting on Tuesday, and then we were gonna go to Disney World on Wednesday. So the next day comes around and they have a bunch of work things to do. So I was just in the hotel room by myself. It was raining, so I really couldn't like go out and do anything. Spent like that entire day just just like in bed crying to myself. Oh my god, I'm sweating because this is making me angry. The next day rolls around and it is finally the day that we are going to Disney World. That morning just really started off as a bad freaking day. And I had this really cute Disney outfit picked out. Very excited about it because y'all know I love my Disney outfits. And then my boyfriend decides to snap at me and yell at me for what I was wearing. He literally said, why do you dress like you're 12 years old, like you're 20 years old? Why do you dress like that? Grow up, be your own age. You know, after finding out that he cheated on me and this and that, he's now insulting me for the way that I dress. Just my confidence level hit the freaking floor. Felt so bad about myself. I changed my outfit into like literally sweats. Ended up not being a very fun day. I was just kind of very upset and hurt the entire day. Like, how do you be sad at the happiest place on earth? Such a long day. I was literally just wanted to go to sleep and get on that flight and go home because I had enough. Him and his brother ended up going out to go get like snacks or something, so I was in the hotel room alone. Took a shower, was crying in the shower, and then I literally just like got in bed, was crying in bed, and they got back and I was just laying there like acting like I was already asleep. I'm literally faced the other direction of him, just like bawling my eyes out silently. After he realized that I was bawling my eyes out, he was like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? And I was like, bro, I am just hurt because you cheated on me. We got into another huge fight again about how he didn't actually cheat on me. He's gonna be a better person and change, and that he doesn't understand why. I just can't forgive him and get over it. I think it takes like a little bit more than like 2 days to get over finding out that you were cheating on me with, you know, like 12 different girls. And now mind you, he is just diddly-daddling around down to Miami to go party for the week while I'm at home crying my eyes out. That entire week we were talking to each other, but we were literally arguing so much because he was drunk and just saying the same things again, like I didn't cheat on you, I was just unloyal, like why can't you get over it and forgive me, that he was gonna stop and that he never was gonna do it ever again, which, sweetie, do we really believe that he was never gonna do it again? I think not. Also, he was so angry at me that I looked at his phone, even though something prompted me to look at his phone, that I invaded his personal privacy. He can't trust me now that I looked through his phone, even though he cheated on me multiple times. So he's in Miami, drunk every single day during the day and nighttime, messaging me all these really mean, nasty messages, basically blaming me for this entire situation, that it's all my fault, that I'm the one that caused this. And also during this time, he is posting on his Instagram stories with random different girls that I have never seen in my life. He was posting on his Instagram stories with like 2 girls side by side to him. After he was like, baby, I love you, we're gonna make this work, you can trust me, I'm gonna be better. Like, what the actual hell? And once he got back to Los Angeles, he was staying at an Airbnb, and I decided that I was just gonna go over to the Airbnb, talk to him, break up with him, and just that be that. That is what I had in mind, but that is exactly what didn't happen. Me being an idiot. Idiot alert. I go over, we're talking to him, and he was starting to have like pain in his stomach, and he said it was getting really bad. So instead of breaking up with him, I took him to the emergency room because I am just a dumb bitch and am too nice, way too nice. I'm literally there all night long with him. I end up going home in the morning. Ended up being totally fine, but I somehow end up back at his place and we're talking things out, and I decided that I should just give him a second chance, which, sweetie, was really not the best idea for me. And at this point, like, all my friends are angry at me for making all these stupid decisions. I was angry at myself for making all these stupid decisions. It was a absolute disaster. And mind you, I'm now dealing with all these emotions in my head. I literally thought I was so ugly and I was unworthy and that nobody was ever gonna love me again and that he didn't really love me. During this entire time, he was trying to move to Los Angeles where I lived. It just didn't really work out for a very long time. And so he ended up going back home for a few months before he was able to move over here. For a few weeks after he went home, we were kind of like trying to work things out. I was still very suspicious and had so many trust issues at this point. I was always kind of just questioning everything he was doing, and he was getting really upset at me for this. Again, just questioning why I couldn't get over this already, and it was completely stupid, and I was creating all these stupid issues for us. For instance, there was this one night where he was out really late at his time zone. It was like probably like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. He hadn't answered me for like 4 hours, and mind you, I have him on Find My Friends, but I went on Find My Friends and it looked to be as if he was at a house And finally, eventually, he texted me back and was like, oh, I was at the bar with some friends, like I left my phone in the car because it was almost dead. Mind you, he's the type of person that would never leave his phone anywhere. He would never just like leave his phone in the car at 3 o'clock in the morning. So then he breaks up with me because I am the crazy girlfriend at this point now. And this was the day before my 21st birthday. I literally went to bed that night on my 21st birthday crying myself to sleep about him breaking up with me. Great 21st birthday. We'll never forget that one. Love that for me. At that point, I was just over it. Like a month went by where I didn't really talk to him much. I was trying to just like separate myself from him, get over him. Me being a toxic human being to myself and making bad decisions, fell into a habit of talking to him again. And at this point, I was actually on vacation with my family. I was seriously just like so in love and so infatuated by him that I just like fell into the trap of it again. Still had tons of trust issues, and I actually went on his Instagram because there's this girl commenting on his photos, and I realized that he was commenting on her photos as well. So I realized he's commenting all these nasty, again, vulgar things on all these girls' photos, and I confront him about this once again. He goes off on me for being the crazy girl who's stalking him and following his every move and this and that, and I'm the one in the wrong here, and he did nothing wrong for commenting all these nasty vulgar things on these girls' photos. Then I say to him, I don't want to talk to you if you're going to be commenting these. That's disrespectful to me. I have more self-respect. Clearly I didn't, because I still talked to him after that. Also on that trip, he had finally gotten the news that he was able to move to LA, and that was a really big thing because he had been trying to move here for like a year now. He did not even tell me. I actually found out from Instagram that he was moving to LA. We had been through so much, and it was like such a big thing that he was finally gonna move here. We'd finally be together. Also in that time period, my dog had passed away and I moved into a new place. I got a new car, and I was trying to like talk to him about like these achievements and these sad things that are happening in my life, and it just really didn't seem like he had the time nor cared about any of the things that were happening in my life. So I was really just over it at this point. Like I didn't want to put any effort into it. He would still comment on my Instagram pictures, and I'd be very dry with him. One night we're texting and he goes off on this big rant about how it would be such a waste that when he finally moves to LA that we didn't try things again. He feels like I wasn't in love with him anymore and didn't want to be with him anymore, and that all of this time spent being together and all this long distance would go to waste if we weren't together when he moved here. He basically left it off as that he wanted to get back together once he moved to LA, and that if I wanted to try things, he wanted to try things. That was about a month before he moved to LA. At that point, I had it in my heart that maybe things would be different when he actually moved here and that we could get through things. So I was very excited for him to finally move to LA. I had been waiting for this for literally a year now. The first time we had saw each other, it had been about 4 months since all the cheating and everything. About a week after he moved here, he just like completely was so dry to me. He was not responding to my messages. He was cutting me off. Like he was looking for apartments to live in and buying furniture and not including me in literally anything. And at that point in my heart, I just knew like he did not want to be with me. Basically everything he just said a month ago was a complete total lie, and that we were never actually going to work out. Hello, sorry, there was a slight intermission because my camera battery died, so I needed to recharge my camera, and it is now dark outside. One time I called him because I wanted to go over and talk about things. He answered and immediately just said, oh, let me guess, you want to come over, in the meanest tone ever. He was very back and forth. One night he would just call me and be like, come over, let's hang out, and then we would like hook up, and then the next day he'd be like, sorry, like I don't know you, like we're not dating. Basically I was just being used, I was being toyed with, and I just really let him do this to me. Just like so obsessed with trying to make things work out that I was not actually using my mind and being like, wow, these are really big red flags. Like, so one day I went over to his apartment because I wanted to talk to him about everything and kind of figure out what the hell was going on, because I felt like he was just leading me on, which surprise he was. I was going on this trip. I was going to be gone for 2 weeks, and I basically said, hey, think about what you want, and while I'm on this trip, just have your time to think about it, and when I get home you can like tell me what you want to do. At this point I was kind of just over it, and like I kind of knew it was already going downhill. While I'm talking to him, he was like, oh yeah, I just like don't know what I want to do, like I don't know if I want to be in a relationship or not, which that is just again a red flag in itself. If somebody wants to be in a relationship with you, they will let you know, and it won't even be something that you have to think about. It's like me and my dumbass thinking that maybe there was a chance when clearly there was not. By the time I got home from my trip, your girl was emotionally exhausted, and my friends were going out. It was my friend's birthday, and I just like wanted to go out, have a nice night, have fun. Not like a healthy coping mechanism, but your girl wanted to. And lo and behold, Kyle, my boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, unclear, he also ended up going out that night, and I didn't know he was coming until I was like in the Uber. So your girl was getting lit, I'm not gonna lie, she was partying it up. I had like a little too much to drink. He eventually shows up. It's like later at night at this point, and this night just was messy, and it gets even messier, which I will get into. We ended up going to one of my friend's house to like have an after party. I barely even remember being at my friend's house for the after party. I literally think I was like passed out. All I remember is getting into an Uber with Kyle and going back to his apartment. I remember I sat my bag down inside of his room and I went and sat on the couch, and then I literally like blacked out. As we were going up to his apartment, this other guy was like pulling up at the same time, and they invited him up to like hang out and do like a little more after partying. I just remember waking up and seeing a bunch of people inside of his apartment, and then I just fell back asleep. And this is where it just gets really messy. Literally clean up on aisle 3, sweetie. I wake up and there's literally no one to be found. It's like the sun is barely coming up. So I walk over to his door and it was closed, which was weird. I was like, why am I not in bed? Like, why am I sitting on the couch? Very dazed and confused. So I go to open up the door, and his door, I will say, is very hard to open, but I thought it was locked at first. So I knock on the door and I'm like, hello, Kyle, like, hello, like, what's happening? Then I hear his voice, and I hear someone else's voice, a female voice, and I was freaking out because my purse, which had my phone, my wallet, my keys, like literally everything inside of his room where he was with a girl that wasn't me. Ran over to his brother's room and started knocking on the door. His brother's significant other opened up the door and was like, literally, what the hell is going on? And I told him what happened, and he went and opened up the door, and as soon as he opens up the door, I see Kyle sitting there on his bed, not in the clothes he was wearing earlier, and there was also a girl laying on the bed with him. So immediately I lost my actual shit. Like, girl, lost it. Throwback to when I first found out he was cheating on me. Felt that anger and rage like times 10, and he like stood up and was like, what the f are you doing? And then I punched him in the face. Not my proudest moment. I have literally never like punched somebody in the face, but your girl threw a punch, and I'm literally not proud of that whatsoever. That is like the Aries in me coming out. As much as I wish that punch probably hurt him, I don't think it really did anything because I am literally like a weak ass noodle. After that, he was literally screaming at me and I was screaming at him, and I got my bag and I stormed out of his apartment and ordered myself an Uber as I was hysterically crying. And as if it couldn't get any worse, my Uber driver calls me and said, hey, like, can you walk to where I am? There's a marathon going on right now and I can't get to where you are. As soon as he said that, my phone dies. Literally, like I said, could not get any worse. So there I am, stranded with a dead phone, standing outside of his apartment, crying. I look like a complete utter mess. I walk back into the apartment building and I say to the front desk man, can you please let me in to apartment blah blah blah. And mind you, their apartment is very nice. There's like a valet service at the bottom, so the valet man saw me crying, the front desk security guy saw me crying, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna have to call them to let you out. You know what, like, I just need to charge my phone so I can get an Uber and go home. And at that moment, that was pretty much rock bottom for me. I don't think I've ever like been in such a low place. So I'm hysterically crying and I go and sit on his living room floor and I start charging my phone. As this is happening, I can hear him talking about me to this girl, whoever this mystery girl was, who was in his room. He was saying awful things about me, like, oh yeah, that's my crazy ex-girlfriend, she's a psycho bitch. They were literally laughing at me as I'm sitting there crying on the floor. So this girl eventually leaves the apartment and he grabs me and says, hey, if you want to talk about this, let's go in my room and talk about this. I'm bawling my eyes out, I'm screaming at him, he's screaming at me. I was just opening up and being like, I cannot believe you would literally do this. And again, he was making excuses, saying that nothing happened and this girl was just sitting in his room and wouldn't leave his apartment. To this day, I still do not know what actually happened between them inside of that room. I don't know if he hooked up with her or if he didn't. Probably hooked up with her, I don't really know. But regardless, I was sitting on his couch while there was a girl in his room with the door closed at like 6 o'clock in the morning. That is just so messed up on so many levels. After us fighting for about 2 hours straight, we both just like fell asleep. I wake up the next morning and I actually had my sister come and pick me up because I literally could not like handle getting in an Uber and like I looked off. So I went home and I sent him a message and said, hey, can we like meet up later today so we can just get closure and just finally officially end things. I did not hear back from him until later that night, and he called me and said, I don't want to talk to you, get out of my life, I don't want to see you or talk to you, all this and that. And I was like, okay, okay, cool bro, same. Eventually I went to bed and I randomly woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning and I had a bunch of like FaceTime missed calls from him and messages. So I call him back because I'm utterly confused after he just was like, I don't want to ever speak to you again. And then he has the audacity to say he misses me and this and that, and is bringing up memories from the past and how good things were. This is me documenting freaking getting over a breakup. Don't know why I'm recording this, literally. But this sucks. Because when you just want somebody so badly and you know they're bad for you and you still want them, but you don't understand why. This hurts. A few days later, he calls me and says, hey, like, do you want to come over and like hang out and like watch a movie? I'm confused at this point. Like, what? Like, literally what just happened? And again, me being stupid once again because I am blinded by love, goes over to his house. This happens a few days in a row where we're hanging out and we're hooking up and it seems like we're gonna get back together once again. But no, I was going out of town and once again I actually volunteer at a summer camp and there's no service there whatsoever. And then one night, of course, the one singular message that comes into my phone is from Kyle. And the message was saying, oh, this is like so great of you to be like spending your time doing this. Like, I miss you so much. Like, I wish I was hanging out with you. I can't wait to see you when you get home. Blah, blah, blah. Lies and more lies. Of course, I thought it was so cute and like won my heart over one more time. So I sent him this nice message. Miss you too. Like, I love you. All this and that. Because, you know, I thought he felt the same, but clearly didn't. A day or two goes by and I still hadn't heard anything from him. So I text him and I was like, hey, like, are we gonna hang out or not? And then he's like, oh yeah, like, sorry, like, we're not together. Like, sorry if I misled you. I don't want to get back together with you. Like, what? His excuse for everything was, we're not together, I told you we're just gonna have fun and nothing of this is actually serious, even though there's literally feelings attached. Oh, sorry, like, we're gonna hook up and like basically you're gonna be my girlfriend, but like we're not together, sweetie, like, sorry. And yes, you could say that it is my fault for continuously going over to his house. I was deeply in love with him. I was just obsessed with trying to make our relationship work out, and again, I was just literally head over heels, blinded by love, and that is why I was being a complete and utter idiot. Literally, Kyle just had a roller coaster of emotions and just could not make up his mind of whether he wanted to be with me, didn't want to be with me. He honestly was just acting like he wanted a girlfriend but didn't want the commitments of it. So then again, after a few days, somehow we make up and I end up over at Kyle's house once again. Like, did I ever learn anything? Apparently not. So now we are at one of the last times that I actually saw Kyle. I went over to his apartment, we were hanging out with some friends, and he was actually leaving for Australia. We hooked up, I helped him literally pack his bags to go to Australia. As he's in his Uber, we're texting, he's like sending me pictures of him before he got on the flight, and at that point again in my mind, I'm like, oh, maybe things are gonna work out. Maybe it's gonna be different this time. Sweetie, was I wrong. He was gone in Australia for about 2 weeks and pretty much just ghosted me completely. Before he left for Australia, he also told me that he was gonna be visiting a few friends while he was there. One of these friends was actually a girl, which he had told me before that she was lesbian, so that I had nothing to worry about. Like, she was just a friend, she didn't even like guys, so there was nothing to worry about. And of course, I believed him, because like, why would I not? So while he's on Australia, he starts posting pictures with this girl. We're gonna call her Ashley. They're doing all these things. He's posting pictures with her with his arm around her. So immediately my mind goes into panic mode again and is like, wow, he's hooking up with Ashley. Woo! So while he was in Australia, I was actually hanging out with a friend and we were actually like not anything at the time. We were just literally just friends, like hanging out and chilling. He's actually my boyfriend now, which is awesome, and I love him so much and he treats me so much better, and I realized how badly I was being treated. But yeah, regardless of that, my boyfriend's great now. But anyways, Kyle returns home from Australia, and at this point I have not said literally anything to Kyle. I haven't tried messaging or reaching out to him. He hasn't done the same for me either. So at this point I had now been hanging out with my now boyfriend for a little bit, and I was posting things on my close friend story about him. Kyle sees this story and he literally loses it, goes off on me, is messaging me all this crazy stuff, saying that he couldn't believe I would do this to him, and I'm just rubbing things in his face, trying to make him jealous. He can't believe I'm already seeing someone else, like he was only gone for 2 weeks, when literally he was seeing someone else and actively hooking up with someone else while he was gone. But like, oh my god, no, like he did nothing wrong, nothing of the sort. I was literally like at the club living it up, and my response back to him was, in the words of Kyle, we are not together. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was pretty much the saga of Kyle and I's relationship. It went on for way too long and I let myself get played one too many times. This truly was, if not the biggest learning experience that I've ever gone through in my life. I've learned to always put myself first and to value myself and to know my freaking worth. If a relationship is meant to be, it will flow easily. It will not feel forced. If there's literally any doubt or question about it, they are really probably not the right person for you. So please learn from my mistakes. A lot of this is also why I did not upload that much last year. I was just in a very bad place mentally last year. This person was completely toxic for my life, and no one person should ever cause this much hurt and pain inside of your life. And if they are, then you just need to exit them from your life. For the longest time I was in such a dark place, and now I can truly say that I finally am in such a better place. I'm feeling better about myself. My confidence is up. I truly do hope this video has helped you out and let you know that you are not alone if you are going through this, or maybe it just gave you a good laugh. Love coping with pain through laughter. If you're going through literally anything, just know that I absolutely love you so much, and you are beautiful and you're special and amazing, and you deserve literally the world, and you deserve to be treated so well. I love you guys so very much. Thank you all so much for sticking with me and supporting me for this long. You guys are truly my family, and I love you with all my heart. Definitely hit the subscribe button down below if you guys want to stick around for more videos where I'm gonna actually get so deep and like talk about things that actually matter. Follow me on Instagram if you want to. If you don't, like, that's cool too. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Big and a hug, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!